The river continues its quiet journey. It does not speak, and yet it always seems to say something. A soft message carried in the movement of water, in the gentle shifting of light across its surface. The fisherman stands near the edge a little longer, as if listening without needing to understand. The morning has fully arrived now, though it still feels gentle. The sky is pale blue, wide and open, with no clouds to hurry the day along. The sunlight rests softly on the water, not harsh, not bright, just steady. It warms the fisherman's shoulders as he lifts his net once more, checking the knots with careful fingers. Some knots feel tighter than others. He pauses to adjust one of them, slowly, patiently. The fiber is rough against his skin, but familiar. He has touched this net many times, mended it in the quiet evenings, sitting just outside his home as the last light of day faded into night. There is comfort in repetition. The same motions, the same quiet work, done again and again over many seasons. It is not tiring. It is not boring to him. It simply is the way things are. He casts the net again. This time, the water is brighter, and he can see deeper beneath the surface. Small shadows move there, slow and smooth, like thoughts passing through a calm mind. The fish are never in a rush. They drift, turn, disappear, and return again. He waits. The breeze is a little warmer now. It carries the faint smell of wet earth and growing plants. Somewhere behind him, someone walks along the path. Soft footsteps press into the ground, then fade as they move away. The fisherman does not turn. He knows these sounds. He has heard them every morning. The village wakes in its own time, each person following a quiet rhythm of their own. When he lifts the net again, there are more fish this time. Still not many, but enough. He places them gently into the basket. Their scales catch the sunlight, flashing briefly before settling into stillness. He covers the basket lightly with a piece of woven reed, not tightly, just enough to shade it. The morning continues. He moves a little further along the riverbank now, walking slowly. His feet sink slightly into the damp soil near the water, leaving soft impressions that will not last long. The river will smooth them away in time. This part of the river is quieter. The reeds are thicker here, growing in clusters that bend gently over the water. Their reflections stretch downward, broken slightly by the movement below. The air feels still, almost held in place. He steps in again. The water feels warmer than before, though only a little. The mud shifts under his feet, but he moves with care, finding steady ground with each step. There is no sudden movement, no sharp action. Only slow, careful motion. He casts the net once more. And waits. Time moves differently here. It stretches, soft and unmeasured. There is no need to think of hours or minutes. The fisherman feels the passage of time in the warmth of the sun, in the angle of light, in the slow change of the sky. The river gives what it gives. And he accepts it. After some time, he steps back again, lifting the net and placing it carefully over his shoulder. The basket now holds enough fish for the day. Not too many, not too few. Enough. He begins the walk back to the village. The path is warmer now under his feet. The earth has begun to dry where the sun has touched it. Small insects move along the ground, their tiny paths crossing and recrossing in patterns too small to follow. As he walks, the village becomes clearer. Low homes, built close but not crowded. The walls hold the color of the land's soft browns, faded reds, touched by the sun over many seasons. Some doorways are open now, and people move quietly in and out. A woman kneels near a clay pot, stirring something slowly. The smell of cooked grain drifts gently through the air. It is warm, simple, familiar. Children sit nearby, still quiet in the early part of the day. They do not run or shout yet. They watch, they listen, they move slowly, just like everything else in this place. The fisherman reaches his home. It stands like the others, shaped by hand, held together by care and time. The doorway is low. He steps inside without sound, placing the basket near the wall. The room is cooler than outside. The thick walls hold the night's coolness for a while longer. Light enters through a small opening, drawing a soft line across the floor. He kneels beside the basket. One by one, he lifts the fish, examining them quietly. There is no hurry. This part of the work is just as slow as the rest. He cleans them with simple tools, movements practiced and steady. Nothing is wasted. Everything has a place. Outside, the day continues to grow warmer. The sounds of the village become clearer now. Soft voices, the movement of feet, the occasional call from someone speaking across a short distance. No loudness, no sharp noise. Only life, moving gently forward. When the work is done, he rinses his hands with a small amount of water, letting it fall back into the earth. He sits for a moment, resting, though he is not tired. Just still. The heat of the day begins to settle. It is not overwhelming yet, but it is present. The air grows thicker, slower. Movement becomes even more careful, even more measured. He steps outside again. The sun is higher now, resting above the village, casting shorter shadows. The river is still visible in the distance, its surface brighter now, almost white where the light touches it most strongly. He does not return to it. Not now. The morning work is done. The rest of the day will follow its own slow path. He sits near the wall of his home, in the shade. The ground is warm beneath him, but not too warm. He leans back slightly, closing his eyes for a moment. There is no sleep. Only rest. The kind of rest that comes naturally when nothing needs to be rushed, when the day does not demand more than what has already been given. The village breathes quietly around him. And the river continues to flow, just beyond sight, just beyond sound, always present, always steady. The sun rises a little higher, and the light becomes softer in a different way. It is no longer the pale, gentle light of early morning. Now it is warmer, spreading slowly across the ground, settling into the walls of the homes, resting on the tops of the reeds near the river. The air grows thicker, though it does not feel heavy. It simply feels full. The fisherman remains seated in the shade. His eyes are half closed, not fully asleep, not fully awake in a busy way. He listens without trying to listen. The quiet sounds of the village move around him, blending together into something steady and calm. A clay pot is set down somewhere nearby. There is a soft, hollow sound as it touches the ground. Then silence again, followed by the faint scrape of something being adjusted. These small sounds come and go, never staying long, never becoming sharp. The fisherman opens his eyes slowly. The brightness of the day has settled in now, though the shade still holds a coolness. He shifts slightly, feeling the warmth of the ground through the thin layer beneath him. His body moves without effort, guided by habit more than thought. Inside his home, the fish he caught rest quietly. They have been cleaned and placed carefully. Some will be eaten today. Some may be dried for later, depending on the need. Nothing is decided quickly. Each choice comes naturally, without pressure. He stands again. There is another kind of work to do now. Not urgent, not demanding, but part of the day all the same. His net, though still strong, needs attention. It always does. The river touches it, pulls at it, leaves behind small signs of wear. He brings it into the shade. The fibers catch the light as he spreads the net across his lap. Some threads are slightly loosened. One small section has a break, not large, but enough to notice. He begins to mend it. His fingers move slowly, guiding the fiber through familiar patterns. Over and under, looping, tightening gently. Each movement is careful, but not tense. He has done this many times before. The work is quiet. There is no sound except the soft movement of the fibers and the faint whisper of the breeze passing by. The world does not interrupt. It simply continues around him. Time passes. The sun moves slightly across the sky, though the change is so slow it can barely be seen. Shadows shift just a little, stretching. Each fold is placed with thought, though not with effort. It becomes compact again, easy to carry, ready for the next time it will meet the water. The day grows warmer. The air now carries a deeper heat, though it is not harsh. It rests gently on the skin, encouraging slower movement, quieter breath. The village responds in the same way. People move less now. Some sit in the shade of their homes. Others rest indoors, where the thick walls hold a cooler air. Work continues, but it is softer, more measured. The fisherman steps inside his home once more. The light here is dimmer, filtered through the small opening above. The air feels still, almost held in place. It is a place for quiet, for rest, for simple tasks done without hurry. He sits again. There is nothing pressing to do now. The fish are prepared. The net is mended. The river will wait until later. He leans back against the wall. Not completely, but enough to feel it. A small breeze moves through the opening in the wall. It carries a faint scent of water and earth, a reminder of the river not far away. The fisherman notices it, though only slightly. It passes over him and is gone. Time continues to stretch. Moments pass without being counted. The light shifts just enough to change the shape of the shadows on the floor. The air remains warm, steady, unmoving. At some point, he closes his eyes. Not in deep sleep. Just a soft drifting. His body rests, his mind quiet, held in the gentle stillness of the day. There are no strong thoughts, no worries, no plans. Only a sense of being present, in this moment, in this place. Outside, a distant sound rises and fades. Perhaps someone speaking, perhaps something being moved. It does not disturb the quiet. It blends into it, becoming part of the slow rhythm of the afternoon. The fisherman remains still. The day moves on around him. The sun begins, very slowly, to lower. It is not yet evening, but the change has begun. The light softens just a little. The heat eases, though it does not disappear. He opens his eyes again. There is no sudden movement. He simply becomes aware once more, as if he had only stepped slightly away and now has returned. He sits for a moment longer. Then, slowly, he rises. There will be another visit to the river before the day ends. Not because it is required, but because it is part of the rhythm. Morning and late afternoon the best times, the calmest times. He steps outside. The light greets him differently now. It is warmer in color, softer in tone. The shadows are longer, stretching across the ground in quiet shapes. The village is waking again from its midday stillness. Movement returns, though gently. A few voices can be heard, low and calm. Someone walks past carrying a small bundle. Another sits near a doorway, watching the day continue. The fisherman picks up his net. It rests easily in his hands. He begins the walk once more, back toward the river. The path is the same. The earth feels different now, warmed fully by the sun. The air carries a softer heat, no longer rising, but slowly settling. The reeds near the water move again. The breeze has returned, light and steady. It brushes against the tops of the plants, creating a soft, whispering sound that moves along the edge of the river. He reaches the water. It looks different now. The light has changed, turning the surface into a deeper gold, with hints of orange beginning to appear. The ripples catch this light in slow, shifting patterns. He stands for a moment. Looking. Not searching. Just seeing. Then, slowly, he steps forward. The water welcomes him again, just as it did in the morning. Cooler now. Calmer. Unchanged, and yet always slightly different. He prepares the net. And the quiet work begins again. The river receives the fisherman again without change. It does not greet him in any visible way, yet its presence feels familiar, almost like something that has been waiting without waiting at all. The surface moves slowly, carrying the last warmth of the day in quiet reflections. The light is different now. It has softened into something deeper, more golden, more gentle. The sun is no longer high. It leans toward the horizon, lowering itself slowly, as if it too follows a rhythm it has never broken. The fisherman steps into the water. It feels cooler than before, though the warmth of the day still lingers faintly beneath the surface. The mud shifts under his feet, soft and patient, remembering every step but holding none for long. He does not move far. Evening is not a time for distance. It is a time for stillness, for smaller movements, for letting the day settle into itself. He unfolds the net again. The fibers, mended earlier, hold their shape well. They spread between his hands, light and familiar. He casts it slowly, without force, letting it fall into the water with almost no sound. A quiet circle forms. Then fades. He waits. The air feels different in the evening. It carries a softness that was not there before. The heat of the day begins to loosen its hold, slipping away slowly, leaving behind a gentler warmth. A bird crosses the sky above him. Its wings move slowly, steady and calm, cutting across the fading light. It does not hurry. It glides for a moment, then disappears beyond the line of reeds. The fisherman's eyes rest on the water. There is movement beneath, small and quiet. The fish are more active now, though not in any hurried way. They drift closer to the surface, following patterns shaped by light and temperature, by instinct and time. He lifts the net. There is weight. More than before. Several fish move within the fine threads, their bodies catching the last light of the sun. Their scales reflect gold and silver, flickering softly as they shift. He brings the net closer. There is no sudden motion, no excitement. Only a careful, steady movement as he frees each fish and places it gently into the basket waiting at the edge. The basket is not full. But it grows. And that is enough. Again, the net is cast. Again, the waiting begins. The evening stretches slowly. The sun lowers further, touching the distant horizon. The sky begins to change in layers, soft gold fading into pale orange, then into a quiet blue above. These colors do not appear all at once. They unfold slowly, gently, like something being revealed piece by piece. The reeds sway with the breeze. Their movement creates a soft, continuous sound, like a whisper that never quite forms into words. It blends with the faint lapping of water against the shore, forming a rhythm that repeats without pattern. The fisherman breathes in this rhythm. Not consciously. Just naturally. Time feels even slower now. The urgency of the day has completely faded. What remains is a kind of stillness that does not ask for anything. It simply exists, filling the space between each moment. He lifts the net again. A few more fish. He places them into the basket. The work continues. Nothing changes quickly. Nothing needs to. Across the river, the far bank begins to darken. The light no longer reaches it fully. Shadows gather there first, settling into the shapes of trees and reeds, softening their edges until they blend into one quiet line. The fisherman remains where he is. The water moves gently around him. There is a slight coolness in the air now, a subtle shift that signals the coming of night. It touches his skin lightly, mixing with the fading warmth of the day. He casts the net once more. The circle opens, then disappears into the surface. He waits. A long moment passes. Then another. The sounds around him grow fewer. The birds call less often now. The distant voices from the village have softened, becoming rare and faint. Even the breeze seems to slow, as if it too is preparing to rest. When he lifts the net this time, there are only one or two fish. He pauses for a moment. Not in disappointment. Just in noticing. The river gives less now. And that is part of its way. He places the fish into the basket and steps back toward the shore. The water releases him slowly, slipping away from his legs as he moves onto the firm ground. Small drops fall back into the river, creating tiny ripples that spread and fade. He stands still for a moment, looking out across the water. The sun is almost gone now. Only a thin line of light remains at the edge of the world, soft and fading. The sky above deepens into a calm blue, slowly darkening with each passing breath of time. The fisherman gathers his net. He folds it carefully, the same way he has done many times before. Each fold is quiet, deliberate, without hurry. The basket rests at his side. It holds what the river has given for this day. Not more. Not less. Enough. He begins to walk back. The path is dimmer now, though still visible in the fading light. The earth beneath his feet has cooled slightly, releasing the heat it held throughout the day. The reeds whisper behind him. The river continues its steady movement, unseen now as he walks away, but never truly absent. The village comes into view again. It is quieter than before. A soft glow appears in a few doorways, where small lamps or fires have been lit. Their light is warm and low, flickering gently against the walls. The air carries a faint scent of cooking. Simple food, prepared slowly. The smell drifts through the space between the homes, blending with the coolness of the evening air. The fisherman walks without sound. His steps are steady, familiar. He reaches his home and pauses at the entrance. Inside, the air is cooler again. The light from outside enters softly, mixing with the dim glow of a small flame within. Shadows move gently along the walls, shaped by the quiet flicker. He places the basket down. Carefully. There is no need to rush the next steps. The work of the day is nearly done. What remains is simple, unhurried, part of the same rhythm that has guided every moment. He sits. For a while, he does nothing. He lets the stillness settle. The sounds of the village are distant now. Occasional, soft, fading. Night is not sudden here. It arrives slowly, gently, like a quiet presence that fills the space without asking. The fisherman breathes. In. And out. Steady. The light fades further. The sky outside deepens into a darker blue, then into something softer, quieter. The first stars begin to appear, small and steady, scattered across the wide expanse above. Inside the home, the flame flickers. It moves slightly with the air, casting slow, shifting patterns. The fisherman prepares the evening meal. His movements are simple, practiced. There is no excess, no complexity. The fish are cooked with care, with patience, with the same quiet attention given to every part of the day. The smell is warm, soft, familiar. He eats slowly. There is no rush, no distraction. Each movement is steady, each moment unbroken. The food is simple, but it is enough. When he finishes, he sets everything aside. The work is done. The day has given what it could. The night has arrived. He steps outside once more. The air is cooler now, gentle against his skin. The village is mostly still. A few lights remain, but many have faded. The sounds are few, spaced far apart. Above him, the sky is wide, filled with stars. They do not move quickly. They do not change. They simply exist, steady and quiet, much like the river below. The fisherman looks upward for a moment. Not searching. Not thinking deeply. Just seeing. Then, slowly, he returns inside. The flame is lowered. The light dims. He lies down on the woven bed. The room is quiet. The air is still. Outside, the river continues its endless journey, unseen in the darkness, but always present. The fisherman closes his eyes. There is no need to think of tomorrow. It will come, just as this day did. Slowly. Quietly. Without hurry. And the river will still be there. Flowing, as it always has. The night settles fully, but it does not arrive all at once. It gathers slowly, like a soft cloth being laid over the land. The last faint colors of evening fade into a deeper blue, and then into darkness that is not heavy, but calm and open. The village rests within it, quiet and still. Inside the fisherman's home, the air has cooled. The thick mud walls hold the memory of the night before, and now they release that quiet coolness back into the space. It is gentle, steady, and comforting in a way that asks for nothing. The fisherman lies still. His breathing is slow, even, unbroken. There is no restlessness in it. The day has taken its natural course, and now the body follows the same quiet pattern. Outside, the world continues in softer ways. The river flows in the dark. Though it cannot be seen clearly, its presence is constant. It moves with the same slow rhythm, the same quiet purpose. The surface reflects small fragments of starlight, broken gently by the steady current. The reeds near the water shift slightly. The breeze is light, almost not there at all. It passes through the tall stems, creating a faint whisper that rises and fades, like breathing. Far off, a sound appears. Perhaps the movement of an animal near the water's edge. Perhaps something stepping carefully through the grass. It is not loud. It does not disturb the quiet. It becomes part of it, then disappears. The fisherman sleeps. There are no dreams that demand attention, no thoughts that pull him away. Only rest, deep and simple, like the stillness of the river at night. Time moves on. It does not hurry. The stars shift slowly across the sky, their positions changing so gently it cannot be seen in a single moment. The darkness softens slightly as the night deepens, becoming something calm rather than empty. The village remains still. Each home holds its own quiet space. Inside, people rest in the same slow rhythm, breathing in the cool air, untouched by urgency. The river continues. Always. It remembers many nights like this. Many days. Many seasons. Long before the fisherman stood at its edge, it moved in the same steady way. Long after, it will continue. The night passes slowly. And then, without any sudden change, it begins to ease. The darkness lightens just a little. Not enough to be called morning, but enough to be noticed if one were awake to see it. The horizon shifts from deep black to a soft gray, almost hidden, almost uncertain. Inside the home, the fisherman stirs. Not fully awake. Just a small movement, a quiet return from deep rest. His breathing changes slightly, becoming a little more aware, though still calm. Outside, the first signs of morning begin again. A bird calls once. Then silence. Then another call, from a different place. The cycle returns. The same gentle beginning, the same slow rise of light. The fisherman opens his eyes. There is no surprise in it. Only a quiet acceptance of the new day. He sits up slowly. The woven bed creaks faintly beneath him, a soft, familiar sound. The air feels cool against his skin, carrying the last touch of night. He pauses. As he always does. There is no need to stand immediately. The day will begin in its own time. The river is still there. It has not moved away. It has not changed its path. It waits, not in a still way, but in its constant motion. The fisherman stands. The routine begins again. But each day, though similar, carries small differences. The seasons change slowly along the river. Not in sudden shifts, but in gentle movements that unfold over many days. There are times when the river grows wider. The water rises, slowly at first, then more noticeably. It spreads beyond its usual edges, touching the darker soil, soaking into the land. This is the time of the flood. It does not arrive with violence. It comes steadily, predictably, as it has for generations. The people of the village know its rhythm. They have watched it, lived with it, trusted it. The fisherman knows it too. During these times, the river changes its behavior. The currents move differently. The fish follow new paths, drifting into areas they do not usually reach. The land drinks deeply. When the water pulls back again, it leaves behind rich soil, dark and full of life. The fields become fertile, ready for growth. The fisherman's work adjusts with the river. There are days when he walks further to reach the water. Days when the usual path is covered, and a new one must be found. These changes are not difficult. They are simply part of the rhythm. He does not resist them. He follows. In other seasons, the river grows narrower. The water retreats slightly, revealing more of the banks. The mud dries in places, cracking gently under the sun. The reeds stand taller, their roots more visible. The fish move differently then. Sometimes deeper. Sometimes slower. The fisherman learns these patterns over time. Not through instruction, but through quiet observation. Watching. Waiting. Noticing small changes. The way the water moves around a bend. The way the light touches the surface at different times of the year. The way the air feels before the river begins to rise again. These things are not written. They are felt. The village lives in the same way. Each season brings small shifts. During cooler times, the air is lighter, easier to move through. The mornings feel longer, the evenings softer. People sit outside more often, sharing quiet moments without many words. During warmer times, the day slows. The heat settles deeply, encouraging stillness. Work is done early, and later. The middle of the day becomes a time for rest, for quiet, for waiting. The fisherman's life does not change in its core. He still wakes with the light. Still walks to the river. Still casts the net. Still waits. Still returns. But within this steady pattern, there are endless small differences. Each day carries its own feeling. Each moment holds its own quiet shape. Years pass in this way. Not marked by numbers, but by cycles. Flood and retreat. Heat and coolness. Light and darkness. The fisherman grows older. But slowly. So slowly it is not noticed from one day to the next. His movements remain steady. His routine unchanged. His connection to the river deepens, not in any visible way, but in a quiet understanding that does not need words. He knows where to stand. Where to cast. When to wait longer. When to return. The river teaches without speaking. And he listens without trying. One evening, much like the others, he stands at the edge of the water. The sun lowers. The sky softens. The breeze moves gently through the reeds. Everything feels the same. And yet, each moment is new. He casts the net. It opens. It settles. He waits. The river flows. The light fades. The day becomes night. And the cycle continues. Always. Slowly. Quietly. Without end. The days continue to unfold in the same gentle rhythm. Morning arrives, as it always does, without announcement. A faint light gathers along the horizon, soft and patient. The sky opens slowly, and the air carries that cool, early stillness that feels untouched. The fisherman wakes again. Not suddenly. Not with urgency. Just a slow return to awareness, like a ripple forming on calm water. His body remembers the rhythm even before his thoughts do. He sits, rests for a moment, and breathes in the quiet of the early hour. Nothing has changed. And yet, everything has moved forward. The river continues its long journey. It has passed through countless mornings like this, reflecting the same pale light, holding the same quiet movement. It does not pause to remember, and yet it carries memory in its flow. The fisherman rises. His movements are as steady as they have always been, though now they carry a softness shaped by time. There is no weakness in it. Only a deeper slowness, a more careful awareness of each step, each motion. He steps outside. The air touches his skin gently. The village is still resting, wrapped in the last moments of night. A faint sound of a bird breaks the silence, then fades again. He walks the familiar path. The earth beneath his feet feels known. Each step falls where many steps have fallen before. The ground does not resist him. It receives him quietly, just as it has for many years. The river appears ahead. Wide. calm. Unchanging in its presence, though never still. He pauses at the edge. This moment is always the same, and always different. A quiet space between night and day, between stillness and movement. He looks out over the surface, where the light has only just begun to touch. There is no thought to hold onto. Only a gentle noticing. Then, slowly, he steps into the water. The river greets him in the same way it always has, cool, steady, without surprise. It wraps around his feet, his legs, holding him in its quiet motion. He casts the net. It opens, then disappears into the surface. And he waits. Waiting has never felt empty to him. It is full in a quiet way. Full of small movements, small changes. The shifting of light. The soft ripple of water. The distant sound of the waking village. He does not measure this time. He lives within it. The net lifts. There are fish. Not many. Not few. Enough. He places them into the basket, his hands moving slowly, carefully. Each motion is gentle, shaped by years of repetition. Again, the net is cast. Again, the waiting. The sun rises. The light grows warmer, stronger, but never harsh in this early hour. It stretches across the water, turning it into a wide surface of soft gold. The fisherman stands in the river, surrounded by this quiet light. There is no need to hurry. There never has been. As the years have passed, the rhythm has only deepened. The work has not become easier or harder. It has simply become more familiar. More natural. Like breathing. There are days when the catch is smaller. Days when the net returns almost empty. On those days, he does not feel concern. He does not question the river. He accepts. Because the river gives in its own time. And takes in its own time. There are also days when the net feels heavier. When the fish move more, when the basket fills more quickly. On those days, he does not feel excitement. He does not take more than he needs. He accepts. Always the same quiet acceptance. The river does not belong to him. And he does not belong to the river. And yet, they exist together. In a shared rhythm. In a quiet understanding. The day continues. He returns to the village, as he always does. The path, the homes, the soft sounds of morning life, they remain unchanged, though each carries small differences that only time can reveal. Children grow. Slowly. Almost without notice. A child who once stood quietly watching now walks further, carries small things, learns the patterns of the day. Not through instruction alone, but through watching, through being present. Sometimes, one of them walks beside the fisherman. Not always. Just sometimes. Small footsteps next to his. Quiet. Observing. There are no long lessons. No detailed explanations. Only shared time. Shared silence. The child watches how he casts the net. How he waits. How he moves without hurry. These things are learned slowly. In the same way the river teaches. Without speaking. Without forcing. The fisherman does not change his pace for the child. He does not need to. The rhythm remains the same. And the child adjusts to it. Over time, the small footsteps become steadier. More certain. The path becomes familiar to them too. The river becomes known. Not fully. Never fully. But enough. The seasons pass. Flood returns. then fades. Heat comes, then softens. The cycle continues, as it always has. The fisherman grows older still. His hair lightens. His movements become even more careful, more measured. But there is no struggle in it. No resistance. Only a deeper stillness. A deeper connection to the rhythm that has always been there. There are mornings when he stands at the edge of the river a little longer before stepping in. Not because he cannot move, but because the moment itself feels complete. Enough on its own. He looks out across the water. The surface moves as it always has. The light touches it in familiar ways. The reeds sway gently. Everything continues. Just as it should. When he steps into the river, it feels the same. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. He waits. The net lifts. The fish are there. Or they are not. Either way, the rhythm remains unbroken. The village continues. The people move through their days in the same slow patterns. Life does not rush here. It unfolds. Gently. Quietly. There are evenings when the fisherman sits outside his home longer than before. Watching the sky change. Feeling the air cool. Listening to the soft sounds of the village settling into night. The child, now a little older, sometimes sits nearby. Not speaking. Just present. The silence between them is not empty. It is full of shared time. Shared understanding. The river flows in the distance. Unseen, but always there. It carries the past without holding it. It moves forward without effort. One day fades into another. Another into the next. There is no clear line where one ends and the next begins. Only a continuous movement. Like the river itself. And within this movement, the fisherman remains. Steady. Quiet. Present. A part of the rhythm. Not separate from it. Not controlling it. Simply within it. As the sun sets again, casting soft light across the land, he stands once more at the edge of the water. The same place. The same motion. The same quiet. He casts the net. It opens. It settles. He waits. The river flows. And time continues. Slowly. Endlessly. Without sound. The river continues, as it always has, without pause and without memory that can be held in words. And yet, it carries everything. Not in a way that can be seen or counted, but in a quiet, flowing sense that moves beneath the surface. The same water that touches the fisherman's feet has come from far away, from places unseen, from times that cannot be measured by a single life. Morning returns again. It does not feel new, and it does not feel old. It simply arrives. The light gathers slowly, touching the edges of the land, slipping gently across the tops of the reeds. The air is cool, soft, almost still. The village rests in that quiet moment before movement begins. Inside the home, the fisherman wakes. His movements are slower now, though they have always been slow. The difference is not in speed alone, but in the way each motion carries more weight, more presence. He sits longer before standing. He breathes more deeply before stepping forward. There is no struggle in this. Only a deeper stillness. He rises. Steps outside. The ground feels familiar, but also slightly different each day. Small changes, too subtle to notice at once, but real all the same. The earth shifts, the air changes, the light moves in quiet patterns. He walks the path to the river. Now, sometimes, he is not alone. The younger one walks beside him more often. Not always speaking, not always asking. Just walking. Their steps are not the same. The fisherman's steps are slow, even, measured by long habit. The younger one's steps are lighter, sometimes pausing, sometimes adjusting, sometimes noticing things along the way. But they move together, without needing to match perfectly. The river appears ahead. Wide. Calm. Endless. The fisherman pauses, as he always does. The younger one pauses too. Not because he was told to, but because he has learned the shape of this moment. The quiet before entering the water. The stillness before the work begins. They stand side by side, looking out. The surface reflects the pale morning light. Small ripples move outward, then fade. The reeds bend slightly in the breeze. Nothing asks for attention. Everything simply is. The fisherman steps forward. The younger one watches. Then follows. The water rises around their feet. Cool. Steady. Unchanging in its feeling, even as time passes. The fisherman unfolds the net. His hands move slowly, carefully. The younger one watches these movements, not with urgency, but with quiet focus. The pattern of the net, the way it opens, the way it rests in the hands, these things are not explained. They are shown. Again. And again. The net is cast. It opens in the air, spreads gently, then settles onto the water. The circle forms. Then disappears. They wait. Together. The fisherman does not fill the silence with words. He does not need to. The waiting itself is the lesson. The younger one stands still, though at times his body shifts slightly, adjusting to the quiet. The stillness is something that grows slowly, something that cannot be rushed. The river moves. The light grows. Time stretches. The net is lifted. Fish move within it. The fisherman brings it closer, his hands steady. He removes the fish one by one, placing them into the basket. Then, after a moment, he pauses. He hands the net to the younger one. There is no instruction spoken. Only a quiet offering. The younger one takes it. His hands are less certain, but careful. He holds the net, feeling its weight, its texture, the way it rests between his fingers. He casts it. Not as smoothly. Not as evenly. But it opens. And that is enough. The fisherman watches. Not correcting. Not guiding with words. Only present. The net settles. They wait again. This is how the river is learned. Not through explanation, but through time. Through repetition. Through shared silence. The days continue in this way. Morning walks. Quiet casting. Patient waiting. The younger one begins to understand the patterns. Not fully, but enough to feel them. He notices the way the water moves differently in certain places. The way the light reveals small changes on the surface. The way the fish gather, then disappear. He begins to feel the rhythm. Not in his thoughts, but in his body. The fisherman watches this. He does not mark the progress. He does not measure it. He simply sees. And continues. The seasons pass again. The river rises. The flood returns. The land changes. The paths shift. Now, the younger one walks ahead sometimes, finding the way where the old path has disappeared beneath the water. His steps are more certain now, though still gentle. The fisherman follows. Not because he must, but because the rhythm allows it. The river connects them. Not in a way that binds, but in a way that flows. Time continues. The fisherman's movements grow slower still. There are mornings when he does not step as far into the water. Days when he stands at the edge longer, watching, feeling, remembering without needing to hold on to anything. The younger one casts the net more often now. His motions are smoother, more balanced. The net opens more fully, settles more quietly. The fisherman stands beside him, sometimes stepping in, sometimes remaining on the shore. Always present. The village continues to move in its quiet way. Other lives unfold. Other rhythms continue. But here, at the edge of the river, something steady passes from one to another. Not ownership. Not control. Only understanding. The river remains the same. And yet, it is never the same. One evening, as the sun lowers slowly, the fisherman stands once more at the water's edge. The light is soft, golden, fading gently. The younger one stands nearby. The net rests in his hands. The fisherman does not step into the water this time. He remains on the shore. Still. Quiet. Watching. The younger one moves forward. Steps into the river. The water rises around him, just as it once did for the fisherman. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The fisherman watches. There is no need for words. The river flows. The light fades. The sky deepens. The moment stretches. Then softens. Then continues. The fisherman turns slowly. Walks back toward the village. His steps are unhurried. The same as they have always been. Behind him, the younger one remains in the water. Waiting. Learning. Becoming part of the same quiet rhythm. The river holds them both. In different ways. At different times. But always within the same endless flow. Night comes again. Softly. Gently. The stars appear. The village quiets. The river continues. And the rhythm does not end. It only moves forward. From one moment to the next. From one life to another. Slowly. Quietly. Without ever needing to speak. The days continue, but they begin to feel softer. Not quieter, because they have always been quiet. Not slower, because time has never rushed here. But softer in a way that is difficult to name, like the light at the very end of evening when shapes remain, but their edges begin to blur. Morning still comes. The same pale light rises over the river. The same cool air rests gently on the land. The reeds still whisper, and the water still moves in its endless, patient way. But something within the rhythm has shifted. Not suddenly. Not in a way that can be pointed to. Only in a way that can be felt. The fisherman wakes, as he always has. Yet now, he remains still a little longer. His eyes open slowly, and he does not rise at once. The room holds the quiet of early morning, and he rests within it, breathing gently, as if listening to something far away, something that cannot be heard with the ears. The air moves lightly through the opening in the wall. It carries the faint scent of the river, as it always has. That familiar presence, constant and unchanged. He sits up. The movement is careful. Not strained, not painful, just deliberate, shaped by time. His hands rest for a moment on his knees before he stands. The ground beneath his feet feels the same, though his steps are slower now, more aware. Outside, the village is still. The younger one waits nearby. He does not call out. He does not rush forward. He simply stands, knowing the rhythm, feeling the quiet space between moments. The fisherman steps forward. They walk together. The path remains the same, though it feels longer now. Each step carries more weight, not in effort, but in presence. The earth receives their footsteps as it always has, holding them for a moment before letting them fade. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Unchanged. The fisherman pauses at the edge. This pause is longer than before. Not by much. But enough to notice, if one is paying attention. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the soft morning light. Small ripples move outward, touching nothing, carrying nothing, simply moving because that is what the river does. He does not step in immediately. The younger one stands beside him. Waiting. Not with impatience, but with quiet understanding. After some time, the fisherman steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Familiar. He does not go as deep as he once did. Only a few steps. Enough. He turns slightly. The younger one moves further in, carrying the net. There is no exchange of words. Only a shared knowing. The net is cast. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. The fisherman stands at the edge now. Not in the center of the work, but still within it. Still part of the rhythm. His eyes rest on the water. But they do not search as they once did. They simply observe. The younger one lifts the net. There are fish. He handles them carefully, placing them into the basket, just as he has learned. His movements are steady now, shaped by repetition, guided by quiet practice. The fisherman watches. There is no need to guide. No need to correct. The rhythm has already passed between them. Not through words, but through time. The morning continues. The light grows warmer. The river moves as it always has. But now, the fisherman steps back sooner. He returns to the shore and sits for a while, watching. The younger one continues. Casting. Waiting. Lifting. The work flows on. And the fisherman rests within it. The day unfolds. They return to the village. The path is the same, though the pace is slower. The younger one walks slightly ahead, then pauses, adjusting his steps to match. The fisherman does not ask for this. But it happens. Naturally. At home, the routine continues. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers its quiet comfort. The fisherman sits more often now. Not out of need alone, but as part of a deeper stillness that has settled within him. He watches the light move along the wall. He listens to the soft sounds of the village. He breathes. The younger one moves through the tasks with quiet focus. Not hurried. Not uncertain. Simply continuing. The seasons pass again. The river rises. Then falls. The land changes. Then returns. Everything continues. And within this steady movement, the fisherman becomes quieter. Not absent. But softer. Like a sound that fades slowly, becoming part of the silence rather than separate from it. There are evenings when he no longer walks to the river. He remains near his home, sitting in the shade as the light begins to change. The younger one goes alone now, carrying the net, following the same path, stepping into the same water. The river receives him, just as it once received the fisherman. Without difference, without memory. And yet, the connection remains. Not in the water, but in the rhythm that continues. The fisherman watches the evening sky. The colors shift slowly. Gold to orange. Orange to soft blue. Blue to deepening night. His eyes follow the change, not with thought, but with quiet presence. The younger one returns. The basket in his hands. The net over his shoulder. Their movements align without effort. The work at home continues. Simple. Steady. The night comes. The air cools. The village quiets. The fisherman lies down. His breathing is slow. Even. The same as it has always been. But softer now. More distant, as if it belongs as much to the space around him as it does to his body. Outside, the river flows. Unchanged. Endless. It carries no memory of footsteps. No trace of hands. No mark of nets cast into its surface. And yet, everything that has touched it becomes part of its quiet story. The stars appear. The sky opens wide. The village rests. Time continues. One morning, the light comes as it always does. The sky softens. The air cool. The reeds whisper. The younger one stands outside. Waiting. The moment stretches. Quiet. Still. The door remains closed. The light grows a little stronger. But nothing changes. The younger one does not rush. He does not call out. He simply stands. Then, slowly, he turns. And begins the walk to the river. Alone. The path feels the same beneath his feet. The earth steady. The air soft. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses at the edge. Just as he has learned. Just as it has always been. The silence holds him for a moment. Then, he steps forward. The water rises around him. Cool. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The river moves. The light grows. The day begins. As it always does. Behind him, the village remains quiet. The fisherman rests. Not within the rhythm of the day anymore. But not separate from it either. Only still. Like the earth. Like the air. Like something that has always been there, and now has become part of everything else. The younger one lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. His movements are steady. Unbroken. The rhythm continues. Not the same. But not different. Simply moving forward. The river flows. The light shifts. The wind moves through the reeds. And the world remains quiet. Slow. Endless. The river continues. It does not begin again, and it does not end. It simply flows, as it has always done, carrying its quiet movement through the land, through the light, through the slow passing of days. Morning arrives once more. The same pale light spreads gently across the sky. The same cool air rests over the village. The reeds near the water whisper softly, bending just enough to be heard, then returning to stillness. The younger one walks the path alone. His steps are steady now. Not hurried. Not uncertain. The ground beneath him feels familiar in a way that no longer needs thought. Each step falls into place naturally, as if the path has become part of him. The river appears ahead. Wide. Calm. Unchanged. He pauses at the edge. The moment holds him. The same quiet space that once held another. He does not rush forward. He does not break the stillness. He simply stands, breathing slowly, letting the air move through him, letting the river remain as it is. Then, gently, he steps into the water. It feels the same. Cool. Steady. Endless. There is no difference in its touch. No memory of who has stood there before. And yet, something continues. Not in the water, but in the rhythm. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The circle forms, then disappears. He waits. The waiting is no longer unfamiliar. It does not feel long. It does not feel empty. It simply exists, full of small movements, small changes, small quiet things that do not ask to be noticed. The light grows. The surface of the river softens into gold. The reeds sway gently. A bird crosses the sky, then fades into the distance. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket, one by one, with the same careful motion that has been passed to him through time, through silence, through presence. Again, he casts. Again, he waits. The rhythm continues. Not as something that belongs to one person, but as something that exists on its own, moving through those who take part in it. The day unfolds. The sun rises higher. The warmth settles into the air. The younger one returns to the village. The path is the same. The homes stand quietly, holding the same shapes, the same colors of earth and time. Smoke rises faintly from a few places. Soft sounds drip through the air. Life continues. Not in large movements. Not in sudden changes. But in the same steady unfolding that has always been there. He enters the home. The space feels familiar. Still. Quiet. The walls hold the coolness of the night, just as before. The light enters softly, tracing a slow path along the floor. He places the basket down. Carefully. The work begins. Cleaning the fish. Preparing what is needed. Each motion is steady, shaped by repetition, guided by memory that does not need to be spoken. There is no rush. There never has been. Outside, the day moves forward. The village breathes quietly. People move through their tasks, through their moments, through their own quiet rhythms. The river continues. Always. In the distance. Unseen. Unheard. And yet, always present. The afternoon arrives. The heat settles. The air grows still. The younger one rests for a while in the shade, just as he once watched another do the same. There is no thought of imitation. No sense of replacing. Only continuation. The same quiet pause within the day. The same gentle stillness. Time stretches. The light shifts. The day softens. Evening begins to form. Slowly. Without announcement. The younger one rises again. He takes the net. Walks the path once more. The river receives him again. Without difference. Without change. He steps into the water. Casts. Waits. The sky begins to glow with deeper colors. Gold fades into orange. Orange into soft blue. The surface of the river reflects it all, breaking it gently with each small movement. The air cools. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The world settles. He lifts the net. There are fewer fish now. But enough. Always enough. He returns to the shore. Folds the net. Begins the walk back. The village glows softly in the distance. Small lights appear. Faint. Warm. Steady. He reaches home. The evening continues. Simple. Quiet. The food is prepared. Eaten slowly. The day comes to rest. Night arrives. The sky deepens. The stars appear, one by one, filling the wide darkness with quiet points of light. The air cools further. The village grows still. The younger one steps outside for a moment. He looks up. Not searching. Not thinking. Just seeing. The same sky. The same quiet. The same endless space. He returns inside. The light dims. He lies down. The room is still. The air is soft. Outside, the river flows. Unchanged. Unending. The same as it has always been. Days pass. Then more days. The rhythm continues. Morning. River. Net. Waiting. Return. Rest. Evening. Night. Again. And again. Nothing asks for attention. Nothing demands to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not in words. Not in thoughts. But in the quiet continuation of each moment into the next. The path remains. Though footsteps fade. The river remains. Though hands change. The rhythm remains. Though lives move through it. One evening, the light fades just a little softer. The air feels just a little cooler. The river reflects the sky in long, slow patterns that stretch and dissolve. The younger one stands at the edge. He pauses. As it has always been done. The silence holds. The water moves. The world breathes. He steps forward. The river receives him. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The light fades. The sky darkens. The stars appear. The river continues. And the story does not end. It does not need to. It simply moves on. Quietly. Slowly. Without sound. Like the water. Like the air. Like the soft fading of light at the end of the day. The night holds the land in a soft stillness. It is not empty. It is full in a quiet way, filled with slow breathing, with distant sounds that rise and fade before they can be named. The village rests within it, each home settled into the same calm darkness. The river moves through the night. Unseen, but never absent. Its surface carries the faint light of the stars, broken gently by the current. The water does not stop. It does not grow tired. It continues, as it always has, through every hour, through every silence. Inside the home, the younger one sleeps. His breathing is slow. Even. Steady. The same rhythm that once belonged to another now continues here, without effort, without thought. The body rests as it should, guided by the quiet passage of the day that has come before. Time passes. Slowly. Without measure. The stars shift across the sky, though the movement is too gentle to be seen in a single moment. The air cools a little more, then holds steady. The world remains wrapped in calm. And then, as it always does, the night begins to soften. Not suddenly. Not with any clear line. Only a gradual change. The darkness lifts slightly. The horizon becomes less deep. A faint gray appears, almost hidden, almost uncertain. Morning begins again. The first bird calls. Soft. Then another. The sound does not break the silence. It becomes part of it. The younger one wakes. There is no rush. No sudden movement. Only a quiet return to awareness, like a ripple spreading slowly across still water. He sits. Pauses. Breathes. The room is cool, holding the last touch of night. The small opening in the wall lets in the earliest light, pale and gentle, brushing softly across the floor. He stands. Steps outside. The air meets him. Cool. Fresh. Still. The village is quiet. Not empty. Just resting in that space before the day begins. He begins the walk. The path is familiar now in a way that needs no thought. His feet find their place naturally. The earth beneath him is steady, shaped by many days, many seasons, many quiet passages. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. Always. This moment does not change. It does not grow old. It does not fade. It simply exists, holding the space between what has been and what is about to begin. He steps forward. The water rises around him. Cool. Steady. The same as it has always been. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. The light grows slowly. The surface of the river takes on that soft golden tone, reflecting the early sun. The ripples move gently, forming patterns that shift and disappear without leaving a trace. He stands within this quiet. There is no need to think. No need to measure. The moment is enough. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again, the net is cast. Again, the waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises higher. The warmth spreads across the land. The village begins to move. Soft sounds return. Footsteps. Voices. The gentle work of daily life. The younger one returns. The basket in his hands. The net over his shoulder. The path feels the same. The village receives him. The home holds its quiet space. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers its calm. He sits. For a while. The same way it has always been done. Not as a task. But as a natural pause within the day. The air grows warmer. The light shifts. The afternoon settles. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. Unchanged. Evening comes. Softly. The light lowers. The colors deepen. The younger one rises again. Walks the path. Steps into the river. Casts. Waits. Returns. Night falls. The stars appear. The air cools. The village quiets. The same cycle. Again. And again. Days pass. then more. The rhythm does not break. It does not rush. It does not slow. It simply continues. Seasons shift. The river rises. Then falls. The land changes. Then settles. The younger one moves through these changes without resistance. As it has always been done. As it will always be done. The years begin to gather. Not in numbers. Not in marks. But in a quiet deepening of the rhythm. His movements grow softer. More measured. Not from weakness. But from understanding. From time. From presence. There are mornings when he stands at the edge of the river a little longer. Looking. Not searching. Just seeing. The surface moves. The light touches. The reeds whisper. Everything remains. And everything moves forward. The memory of the fisherman is not held in words. Not spoken. Not repeated. It exists in the rhythm. In the way the net is cast. In the way the waiting is done. In the way the day unfolds without hurry. Nothing has been lost. Nothing has been kept. Only continued. One evening, as the sun fades slowly, the younger one stands in the water. The light is soft. The air cool. The river calm. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. Endless. The world breathes around him. The same as it always has. The same as it always will. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Turns. Walks back. The path holds his steps for a moment. Then releases them. The village glows softly. The night arrives. The stars fill the sky. The river flows. And the story continues. Not forward. Not backward. But simply onward. In the quiet movement of water. In the soft passing of light. In the steady rhythm of days that do not need to be remembered to remain. Everything rests. Everything moves. Everything is held within the same endless calm. The river flows. And it keeps flowing. The river keeps moving through the night. It does not change its pace for sleep or wakefulness. It does not pause for memory or forgetfulness. It simply flows, carrying the same soft motion through darkness that it carried through daylight. The world above it is still. The village rests in quiet shapes, each home holding its own gentle silence. Inside, breathing continues in slow, steady rhythms. Nothing calls for attention. Nothing demands to be changed. Time passes. Not quickly. Not slowly. Just evenly, like water moving over smooth ground. The stars remain above. They do not shift in ways that can be felt, only in ways that exist beyond awareness. The sky is wide, and it holds everything without effort. And then, as always, the darkness begins to soften. Not suddenly. Not noticeably at first. Only a faint change at the edge of the sky. A thinning. A lightening. A quiet return. Morning. The river reflects it before anything else does. A pale line of light touches the water, stretching slowly across its surface. The movement is gentle, almost unnoticeable unless one is already watching. The younger one is already awake. Or perhaps he has not fully slept. The difference no longer matters in the same way. He sits for a moment inside the home. Still. Listening to nothing in particular. The air is cool. The space around him is familiar. The same walls. The same quiet, the same slow beginning of another day. He stands, steps outside. The path is waiting. It has never not been waiting. He walks. The earth beneath his feet feels unchanged, though no two steps are ever exactly the same. The difference is so small it cannot be named, only felt in the quiet awareness of movement. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. As he always does. This pause is not learned now. It is part of him. The river holds its silence. The reeds move slightly in the breeze. The sky continues to brighten. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Falls. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought of what came before. There is no thought of what will come after. Only the moment. The river moves. The light grows. The world continues. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. The motion is careful. Unhurried. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. Again. The river responds in its own way. Not predictable. Not unpredictable. Simply itself. The rhythm holds. Morning becomes day. The sun rises higher. The land warms. The village begins its slow return to movement. The younger one walks back along the path. The basket is not heavy in the way weight is measured. It is simply there. Part of the day. Part of the cycle. The home receives him. The space is quiet. The work continues. Simple tasks. Familiar motions. The same quiet unfolding of life that has always been there. The river remains in the distance. Not forgotten. Not remembered. Just present. Always. The afternoon settles in. The air grows still. The heat rests gently on the land. Movement slows. Not because it must, but because it naturally does. Time stretches again. The way it always has. The younger one rests in the shade. His breathing slow. His thoughts quiet. Not empty. Just not reaching for anything. The village is in its softest state now. Neither fully awake nor asleep. Just existing in calm continuation. Evening returns. The light shifts again. Golden at first. Then softer. Then fading. The younger one stands. Takes the net. Walks. The river appears once more. The same. Always the same. And never the same. He steps in. The water rises. He casts. He waits. The sky deepens. The colors stretch and dissolve. The reeds whisper. The world softens. He lifts the net. There are fish. He turns. Walks back. The village glows faintly. Night arrives again. The stars appear. The river flows. And something continues. Not in names. Not in memory. Not in stories told aloud. But in the quiet repetition of life itself. Days pass again. And again. And again. The rhythm does not ask to be understood. It only asks to be lived. And it is lived. Gently. Without resistance. Without urgency. Without end. The fisherman is no longer spoken of. Not because he is gone in a way that is final. But because he has become part of the rhythm itself. Not a person standing beside the river, but the way the river is known. The way the morning begins. The way the net falls into water. The way waiting feels when it is not waiting at all. Only being. Only continuing. The younger one becomes older. Slowly. Almost imperceptibly. And one day, without any clear moment marking the change, he stands at the river alone. Not replacing. Not continuing something separate. But simply standing where life has always stood. The river receives him. As it always has. As it always will. And the story does not end here. It does not end anywhere. It remains in motion. Quiet. Steady. Endless. Like water moving through earth that has never needed to speak its name. Like light returning each morning without asking to be remembered. Like silence that has never been broken. Only carried forward. Forever. The river does not change its nature. It moves in the same quiet way, slipping past the banks, touching the reeds, reflecting the sky without holding it. Each moment passes into the next without leaving a mark that can be seen. Morning comes again. It always does. The light gathers slowly, as if it is remembering how to return. A pale glow spreads along the horizon, soft and steady. The air is cool, carrying that familiar stillness that belongs only to the earliest part of the day. The man wakes. He is no longer the younger one. But he is not something entirely different either. He simply is. His movements are calm. Measured. Without effort. He sits for a moment before rising, just as he once watched another do. The room is quiet around him, holding the same soft air, the same faint light. Nothing asks him to hurry. Nothing asks him to change. He stands. Steps outside. The village rests in the early morning stillness. A few faint sounds begin to appear, soft footsteps, a distant movement, but they do not disturb the calm. He walks the path. It is known to him now in a way that does not require thought. His feet follow it naturally, each step settling into the earth with quiet certainty. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This pause has never been taught with words. It has only been lived. A quiet moment between stillness and movement. Between what is and what will continue. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the early light, soft and pale. Small ripples move outward, touching nothing, holding nothing. He steps forward. The water rises around him. Cool. Steady. Unchanged. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no impatience. There is no expectation. Only the moment. The river moves. The light grows. The world wakes slowly. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. The motion is careful. Familiar. Unbroken. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Not because it is remembered, but because it exists. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village begins to move. The man returns. The path holds his steps, then releases them. The home receives him. The work continues. Simple. Quiet. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers rest. He sits. The same way it has always been done. Not as something learned. but as something that has become part of him. The day unfolds. The air grows warm. The sounds soften. Time stretches. Nothing presses forward. Nothing falls behind. Everything remains within the same gentle flow. The river continues in the distance. Always present. Always moving. Evening returns. The light lowers. The colors deepen. He rises again. Takes the net. Walks the path. Steps into the water. Casts. Waits. The sky softens. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment stretches. Then settles. He lifts the net. There are fish. He turns. Walks back. Night comes. The stars appear. The air cools. The village rests. The river flows. Days pass. Seasons shift. The rhythm deepens. Not louder. Not stronger. Just quieter. More still. More complete. There are moments when he stands at the river and does not cast the net immediately. He watches. Not searching. Just seeing. The movement of water. The reflection of light. The soft changes that never repeat and never need to. Time continues. It does not gather. It does not scatter. It simply moves. Like the river. Like the air. Like the light that comes and goes without asking to be held. The memory of those who came before is not carried in stories spoken aloud. It is carried in the way the day begins. In the way the net is held. In the way the waiting feels natural and complete. Nothing is lost. Nothing is kept. Everything is simply continued. One evening, the light fades more gently than before. Or perhaps it has always faded this way. The difference is not something that can be known. He stands in the water. The sky reflects across the surface. The river moves. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment is quiet. Full. Endless. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. He turns. Walks back. The path remains. The village glows softly. The night arrives. The stars appear. The river continues. And the story remains. Not told. Not written. Only lived. In the slow movement of days that never truly begin and never truly end. In the quiet rhythm that does not belong to any one life. But continues through all of them. Softly. Endlessly. Without sound. The river flows. And it keeps flowing. The night settles over the land again. It does not arrive with weight. It does not close anything off. It simply softens what was already soft, quiets what was already quiet, and allows the world to rest within itself. The river moves through the darkness. Its surface is smooth in places, lightly broken in others, but always in motion. It carries the reflection of the stars, though it does not hold them. They appear, shimmer, and dissolve with each small ripple. The village is still. Each home rests in the same calm, the same slow breath of night. Inside, the man lies quietly. His breathing is even, steady, not deep, not shallow, just natural. There is no sense of ending in this rest. Only a pause. A soft space between one day and the next. Time passes. Not in a way that can be counted. Not in a way that needs to be known. The stars shift slightly across the sky. The air cools, then remains. The silence deepens, then becomes simply the way things are. And then, slowly, the night begins to open. Not with light at first, but with a subtle change. The darkness becomes thinner. The edges of things return. A faint gray spreads along the horizon. Morning begins again. The river reflects it first. A soft brightness appears on the surface, stretching outward, carried gently by the current. It does not announce itself. It simply arrives. The man wakes. There is no clear moment when sleep ends and waking begins. Only a gradual awareness, a gentle return. His eyes open slowly, adjusting to the faint light that has entered the room. He does not move at once. He remains still, breathing, letting the moment settle. The air is cool. The walls hold the quiet. Everything feels as it should. He sits up. The movement is unhurried. He places his feet on the ground, feeling the firmness beneath him, the steady presence of something that does not change quickly. He stands. Steps outside. The village is quiet. A bird calls once, then again, its voice soft, spaced apart. The sound moves through the air without disturbing it. The path is there. Waiting. As it always has been. He begins to walk. Each step falls into place. The earth receives it. Then releases it. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This moment does not grow old. It does not repeat in the way that things repeat. It simply exists, each time as complete as the last. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the early light, pale and soft. The reeds move gently, brushing against one another with a faint sound that comes and goes. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought in the waiting. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world wakes slowly around him. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises higher. The warmth spreads across the land. The village begins to move. Soft sounds return. Footsteps. Voices. The gentle work of life continuing. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The space holds its quiet. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers its calm. He sits. The same quiet pause within the day. Not planned. Not required. Just part of the rhythm. The air grows warmer. The light shifts. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. In the distance. Unseen. But present. Evening comes. Softly. The light lowers. The colors deepen. He rises. Takes the net. Walks the path again. The river receives him again. He steps in. Casts. Waits. The sky reflects on the water. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment softens. He lifts the net. There are fewer fish now. But enough. Always enough. He turns. Walks back. The village glows softly. Night arrives. The stars appear. The air cools. The world rests. Days pass. Then more. The rhythm does not change. It deepens. Becomes quieter. More still. More complete. There are moments when he stands at the river and does not move. He watches. Not searching. Not thinking. Just being. The water flows. The light shifts. The air moves. Everything continues. Nothing asks to be held. Nothing asks to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not as something kept, but as something lived. The path remains. Though footsteps fade, the river remains. Though hands change, the rhythm remains. Though lives move through it. One evening, the light fades gently. The sky softens. The river reflects it all. He stands at the edge. Pauses. Steps forward. The water rises. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. Full. Unbroken. The river flows. The light fades. The stars appear. And the space between one day and the next returns. Softly. Gently. Without end. The river continues. And it always will. The night rests over the river like a soft, unbroken thought. It does not press down. It does not close anything away. It simply settles, gently, allowing everything beneath it to become still in its own way. The water continues to move. It always moves. Even in the deepest quiet, even when nothing else seems to change, the river carries its steady motion forward. It does not announce itself. It does not leave marks behind. It simply passes, one moment into the next. The village is silent. Not empty. Just resting. Inside the homes, breathing continues, slow and even. The walls hold the coolness of the night. The air feels soft, unmoving, as if time itself has slowed to match the quiet. The man sleeps. His breathing follows the same rhythm as the river in its own way, steady, unbroken, without effort. There is no tension in it, no reaching, no holding on. Only rest. Time passes. It is not counted. It is not marked. It is simply lived, even in sleep. The stars remain above. They do not hurry. They do not change in ways that can be felt in a single moment. They simply exist, quietly, endlessly, just as the river does below. And then, slowly, the night begins to soften. Not in a way that can be pointed to. Not in a way that demands attention. Only a gradual easing. A lightening. A return. Morning. The river reflects it first. A faint line of pale light stretches across the surface, carried gently by the current. It does not stay. It moves, shifts, disappears, and returns again. The man wakes. Not suddenly. Not completely at once. Just a slow awareness. A quiet opening. His eyes adjust to the dim light inside the room. The air is cool. The walls are still. Everything is as it has always been. He sits. Pauses. Breathes. There is no need to rise immediately. The moment is already complete. After some time, he stands. Steps outside. The village is quiet in that early hour. A bird calls once. Then again. The sound is soft, spaced, without urgency. The path is there. Waiting. He walks. Each step is steady. Familiar. The earth receives his weight, then releases it. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This pause is part of everything. It does not begin. It does not end. It simply exists, each time as it always has. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the pale morning light. The reeds move gently, their soft whisper carried by the faint breeze. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Unchanged. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world begins to wake. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village moves. Softly. Steadily. Without hurry. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The work continues. Simple. Quiet. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers rest. He sits. The pause within the day. The same quiet space that has always been there. The air grows warm. The light shifts. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. In the distance. Unseen. But present. Evening comes. The light softens. The colors deepen. He rises. Takes the net. Walks the path. The river receives him again. He steps in. Casts. Waits. The sky reflects across the water. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment deepens. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Turns. Walks back. The village glows softly. Night arrives. The stars appear. The air cools. The world rests. Days pass. Then more. The rhythm does not change. It becomes quieter. More still. More complete. There are moments when he stands at the river and does not move at all. He watches. Not searching. Not thinking. Just being. The water flows. The light shifts. The air moves. Everything continues. Nothing asks to be held. Nothing asks to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not as something stored, but as something lived. The path remains. Though footsteps fade, the river remains. Though hands change, the rhythm remains. Though lives move through it, one evening, the light fades slowly. The sky softens. The river reflects it. He stands at the edge. Pauses. Steps forward. The water rises. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. full, unbroken. The river flows. The light fades. The stars appear. And the rhythm continues. Without words. Without memory. Without end. The river flows. And it never needs to speak. The night remains gentle over the land. It does not deepen in any sudden way. It simply continues, holding the village, the river, the air, all within the same calm stillness. The stars rest above, scattered across the sky, steady and distant. The river moves beneath them. Always moving. It carries no sound that asks to be heard. Only a soft, endless motion that passes through the darkness, touching the banks, slipping past the reeds, continuing without pause. Inside the home, the man rests. His breathing is slow. Even. It blends with the quiet around him, becoming part of it rather than separate from it. There is no edge between his rest and the stillness of the night. Time passes. It does not gather. It does not leave. It simply continues. And then, slowly, the darkness begins to ease. Not in a way that can be clearly seen. Only in a way that can be felt. The air shifts. The sky lightens. A faint gray spreads along the horizon. Morning returns. The river reflects it first. A pale shimmer touches the surface, carried gently by the current. It moves, fades, returns again, never staying in one place. The man wakes. His eyes open slowly. There is no rush. No sudden movement. Only a quiet awareness of the new day. He remains still for a moment. Breathing. Listening. Feeling the calm that has not changed. Then he sits. The motion is careful. Unhurried. He stands. Steps outside. The village is quiet. A bird calls once. Then silence. The path waits. As it always has. He begins to walk. Each step is steady. The earth holds him for a moment, then lets him go. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This moment does not repeat. It does not change. It simply is. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the early light, soft and pale. The reeds move gently, their quiet sound carried by the air. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world wakes. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village begins to move. Soft sounds return. Footsteps. Voices. The gentle work of life continuing. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The space holds its quiet. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers rest. He sits. The pause within the day. The same quiet space. The air grows warm. The light shifts. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. In the distance. unseen, but present. Evening comes. The light lowers. The colors deepen. He rises. Takes the net. Walks the path. The river receives him. He steps in. Casts. Waits. The sky reflects across the water. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment softens. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Turns. Walks back. The village glows softly. Night arrives. The stars appear. The air cools. The world rests. Days pass. Then more. The rhythm does not change. It becomes quieter. More still. More complete. There are moments when he stands at the river and feels no need to move at all. He watches. Not searching. Not thinking. Just being. The water flows. The light shifts. The air moves. Everything continues. Nothing asks to be held. Nothing asks to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not in memory. Not in words. But in the quiet continuation of each moment into the next. The path remains. Though footsteps fade. The river remains. Though hands change. The rhythm remains. Though lives move through it. One evening, the light fades more slowly. Or perhaps it has always been this slow. The difference is not something that needs to be known. He stands at the edge. Pauses. Steps forward. The water rises. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. Full. Unbroken. The river flows. The light fades. The stars appear. And the quiet remains. Even as everything continues to move. The river flows. And the quiet stays. The night rests lightly over the land. It does not feel separate from the day that came before. It feels like a continuation, a quiet extension of everything that has already been. The village remains still, the homes settled into their familiar shapes, the air cool and calm. The river moves. Always. Its surface is dark now, touched only by the faint light of the stars above. The current does not slow. It does not change. It continues in the same steady way, as if it has always known where it is going, though it never needs to arrive. Inside the home, the man lies quietly. His breathing is soft. Even. It rises and falls without effort, blending into the stillness around him. There is no boundary between his rest and the quiet of the night. Time passes. It does not leave behind anything that can be held. It does not take anything away. It simply moves. And then, slowly, the night begins to open. Not with sound. Not with sudden light. Only a gentle easing. The darkness softens. The horizon lightens. Morning returns. The river reflects it first. A pale glow stretches across the water, carried gently by the current. It moves, shifts, disappears, and returns again, never fixed, never still. The man wakes. There is no moment of waking that can be named. Only a slow awareness. A quiet return. He remains still for a time. Breathing. Listening. Feeling the calm that has not changed. Then he sits. The motion is steady. Unhurried. He stands. Steps outside. The village is quiet. A bird calls. Soft. Then silence. The path is there. Waiting. He walks. Each step falls into place. The earth receives it. Then releases it. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This moment remains. Always the same. Always complete. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the early light. The reeds move gently, their soft sound carried by the breeze. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world begins to wake. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village moves. Softly. Steadily. Without hurry. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The space holds its quiet. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers rest. He sits. The pause within the day. The same quiet space. The air grows warm. The light shifts. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. In the distance. Unseen. But present. Evening comes. The light lowers. The colors deepen. He rises. Takes the net. Walks the path. The river receives him. He steps in. Casts. Waits. The sky reflects across the water. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment softens. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Turns. Walks back. The village glows softly. Night arrives. The stars appear. The air cools. The world rests. Days pass. Then more. The rhythm does not change. It deepens. Becomes quieter. More still. More complete. There are moments when he stands at the river and feels as though nothing needs to be done at all. And yet, everything continues. He watches. Not searching. Not thinking. Just being. The water flows. The light shifts. The air moves. Everything continues. Nothing asks to be held. Nothing asks to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not as something kept, but as something lived. The path remains. Though footsteps fade, the river remains. Though hands change, the rhythm remains. Though lives move through it. One evening, the light fades gently. The sky softens. The river reflects it. He stands at the edge. Pauses. Steps forward. The water rises. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. Full. Unbroken. The river flows. The light fades. The stars appear. And the stillness carries everything forward. The river flows. And nothing is ever lost within it. The night holds its place over the river. It does not deepen or lift in any sudden way. It simply continues, soft and steady, as if it has always been here and will always remain. The stars rest above, scattered across the wide sky, quiet and unmoving to the eye. The river moves beneath them. It never stops. Its motion is gentle, constant, without effort. The surface carries faint reflections of light, broken softly by the slow current. It does not hold anything. It only passes. The village is still. Each home rests in silence, holding the coolness of the night. Inside, breathing continues, slow and even, blending into the quiet air. The man sleeps. His body rests without tension, without thought. His breath rises and falls, steady and calm, part of the same rhythm that has shaped every day. Time moves. It does not ask to be noticed. It does not leave anything behind. It simply continues. And then, slowly, the night begins to soften. Not with sound. Not with movement. Only a gradual change. The darkness lightens. The horizon becomes visible. Morning returns. The river reflects it first. A faint, pale glow touches the surface, spreading gently, carried by the current. It moves without staying, changing without effort. The man wakes. His eyes open slowly. There is no urgency. No need to move at once. He remains still for a moment, breathing, letting the quiet settle around him. The air is cool. The room is calm. Everything feels as it has always felt. He sits. The movement is gentle. Unhurried. He stands. Steps outside. The village is quiet in the early light. A bird calls once. Then again. The sound is soft, spaced apart, fading into the stillness. The path is there. Waiting. As it always has been. He walks. Each step is steady. The earth receives him. Then releases him. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This moment does not repeat. It does not need to. It is complete each time. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the pale morning light. The reeds move gently, their soft whisper carried by the breeze. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world wakes slowly. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village begins to move. Soft sounds return. Footsteps. Voices. The gentle work of life continuing. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The space holds its quiet. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers rest. He sits. The pause within the day. The same quiet space. The air grows warm. The light shifts. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. In the distance. Unseen. But present. Evening comes. The light lowers. The colors deepen. He rises. Takes the net. Walks the path. The river receives him. He steps in. Casts. Waits. The sky reflects across the water. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment softens. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Turns. Walks back. The village glows softly. Night arrives. The stars appear. The air cools. The world rests. Days pass. Then more. The rhythm does not change. It becomes quieter. More still. More complete. There are moments when he stands at the river and feels no need to move at all. He watches. Not searching. Not thinking. Just being. The water flows. The light shifts. The air moves. Everything continues. Nothing asks to be held. Nothing asks to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not as something stored, but as something lived. The path remains. Though footsteps fade, the river remains. Though hands change, the rhythm remains. Though lives move through it. One evening, the light fades gently. The sky softens. The river reflects it. He stands at the edge. Pauses. Steps forward. The water rises. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. Full. Unbroken. The river flows. The light fades. The stars appear. And the quiet remains. Even when nothing needs to change. The river flows. And it continues, just as it always has. The night rests gently across the land once more. It feels familiar, not because it repeats, but because it never truly leaves. The same calm air settles over the village. The same stillness holds the space between each small sound. The river moves beneath the darkness. It does not change its rhythm for night or day. It carries the same steady motion, unseen but always present. The surface holds faint reflections of starlight, shifting softly with each passing ripple. Inside the home, the man lies still. His breathing is quiet. Even. It blends into the night as if it belongs there, as if it has always been part of the same stillness that surrounds him. Time passes. It does not gather. It does not leave. It simply continues. The stars shift slowly. The air cools, then settles. The silence deepens, not by becoming heavier, but by becoming more complete. And then, slowly, the night begins to soften. Not suddenly. Not clearly. Only a gradual change. The darkness lightens. The horizon opens. Morning returns. The river reflects it first. A pale light touches the surface, stretching gently across the water. It moves with the current, appearing and disappearing without effort. The man wakes. There is no clear moment of waking. Only a quiet awareness. A slow return. He remains still for a time. Breathing. Listening. Feeling the calm that has never changed. Then he sits. The movement is careful. Unhurried. He stands. Steps outside. The village is quiet. A bird calls once. Then again. The sound is soft, spaced, without urgency. The path is there. Waiting. He walks. Each step is steady. The earth receives him. Then releases him. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This moment remains complete. It does not need to change. It does not need to be remembered. It simply is. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the early light. The reeds move gently, their quiet whisper carried by the breeze. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world begins to wake. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village begins to move. Soft sounds return. Footsteps. Voices. The gentle work of life continuing. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The space holds its quiet. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers rest. He sits. The pause within the day. The same quiet space. The air grows warm. The light shifts. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. In the distance. Unseen. But present. Evening comes. The light lowers. The colors deepen. He rises. Takes the net. Walks the path. The river receives him. He steps in. Casts. Waits. The sky reflects across the water. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment softens. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Turns. Walks back. The village glows softly. Night arrives. The stars appear. The air cools. The world rests. Days pass. Then more. The rhythm does not change. It deepens. Quietly. Without being seen. Without being named. There are moments when he stands at the river and feels as though the movement of water and the movement of time are no longer separate. They are the same. Flowing. Unbroken. Endless. He watches. Not searching. Not thinking. Just being. The water flows. The light shifts. The air moves. Everything continues. Nothing asks to be held. Nothing asks to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not as something kept, but as something lived. The path remains. Though footsteps fade, the river remains. Though hands change, the rhythm remains. Though lives move through it, one evening, the light fades gently. The sky softens. The river reflects it. He stands at the edge. Pauses. Steps forward. The water rises. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. Full. Unbroken. The river flows. The light fades. The stars appear. And the quiet grows deeper. Without ever needing to be seen. The river flows. And it continues, quietly, without end. The night rests quietly over the river and the land. It does not feel separate from what came before. It feels like a continuation, a gentle extension of the day that has faded into it. The village is still. The air is cool. The stars remain above, steady and distant. The river moves. Always. Its surface carries faint light, broken gently by the current. It does not hold anything. It does not keep anything. It only moves, one moment into the next. Inside the home, the man rests. His breathing is slow. Even. It blends into the quiet of the night, becoming part of it rather than something apart. Time passes. Not quickly. Not slowly. Just evenly. And then, without any clear beginning, the night begins to soften. The darkness lightens. The horizon becomes visible. Morning returns. The river reflects it first. A pale glow stretches across the surface, carried gently by the current. It shifts, disappears, and returns again, never staying still. The man wakes. His eyes open slowly. There is no urgency. No need to rise at once. He remains still for a moment. Breathing. Feeling the calm. Then he sits. The movement is steady. Unhurried. He stands. Steps outside. The village is quiet. A bird calls. Soft. Then silence. The path is there. Waiting. As it always has been. He walks. Each step is steady. The earth receives him. Then releases him. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This moment does not change. It does not need to. It is complete each time. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the early light. The reeds move gently, their quiet whisper carried by the breeze. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world wakes slowly. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village begins to move. Soft sounds return. Footsteps. Voices. The gentle work of life continuing. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The space holds its quiet. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers rest. He sits. The pause within the day. The same quiet space. The air grows warm. The light shifts. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. In the distance. Unseen. But present. Evening comes. The light lowers. The colors deepen. He rises. Takes the net. Walks the path. The river receives him. He steps in. Casts. Waits. The sky reflects across the water. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment softens. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Turns. Walks back. The village glows softly. Night arrives. The stars appear. The air cools. The world rests. Days pass. Then more. The rhythm does not change. It deepens. Quietly. Softly. Without needing to be noticed. There are moments when the edges between things begin to feel less clear. The sound of water and the sound of breath. The movement of light and the movement of time. The presence of the man and the presence of the river. They do not separate. They blend. Not completely. Not in a way that removes one from the other. But in a way that softens the distance between them. He stands at the river. Watching. Not searching. Not thinking. Just being. The water flows. The light shifts. The air moves. Everything continues. Nothing asks to be held. Nothing asks to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not as something kept, but as something lived. The path remains. Though footsteps fade, the river remains. Though hands change, the rhythm remains. Though lives move through it, one evening, the light fades even more gently. Or perhaps it has always been this way. The difference is not something that needs to be known. He stands at the edge. Pauses. Steps forward. The water rises. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. Full. Unbroken. The river flows. The light fades. The stars appear. And everything blends softly into everything else. The river flows. And there is no edge where it truly begins or ends. The night rests again over the river and the land. It does not arrive. It does not depart. It simply becomes, as it always has, a gentle covering of stillness that allows everything to settle into itself. The village is quiet. Each home holds the same soft darkness. The air is cool, unmoving, carrying no urgency, no demand. Inside, the man lies still, his breathing slow and even, part of the same quiet that surrounds him. The river moves. Always. It carries its motion through the darkness without effort. The surface reflects the faint light of the stars, though it does not keep them. They appear, shimmer, and fade with each small ripple. Time passes. It is not marked. It is not measured. It simply continues. The stars shift. The air softens. And slowly, without any clear beginning, the night begins to open. The darkness becomes lighter. The horizon becomes visible. Morning returns. The river reflects it first. A pale glow stretches across the surface, moving gently with the current. It does not stay in one place. It moves, disappears, and returns again. The man wakes. There is no sudden moment. Only a quiet awareness. A gentle return. He remains still for a while. Breathing. Listening. feeling the calm that has never left. Then he sits. The movement is slow, steady, unhurried. He stands, steps outside. The village is quiet. A bird calls once, then again. The sound is soft, fading quickly into the stillness. The path is there, waiting, as it always has been. He walks. Each step is steady. The earth receives him, then releases him. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This moment remains. Complete. Unchanged. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the early light. The reeds move gently, their quiet whisper carried by the breeze. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world begins to wake. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village begins to move. Soft sounds return. Footsteps. Voices. The gentle work of life continuing. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The space holds its quiet. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers rest. He sits. The pause within the day. The same quiet space. The air grows warm. The light shifts. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. In the distance. Unseen. But present. Evening comes. The light lowers. The colors deepen. He rises. Takes the net. Walks the path. The river receives him. He steps in. Casts. Waits. The sky reflects across the water. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment softens. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Turns. Walks back. The village glows softly. Night arrives. The stars appear. The air cools. The world rests. Days pass. Then more. The rhythm does not change. It becomes quieter. Deeper. More still. There are moments when he stands at the river and feels that nothing needs to be added, and nothing needs to be taken away. Everything is already complete. He watches. Not searching. Not thinking. Just being. The water flows. The light shifts. The air moves. Everything continues. Nothing asks to be held. Nothing asks to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not as something stored, but as something lived. The path remains. Though footsteps fade, the river remains. Though hands change, the rhythm remains. Though lives move through it. One evening, the light fades so gently it is almost not noticed. The sky softens. The river reflects it. He stands at the edge. Pauses. Steps forward. The water rises. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. Full. Unbroken. The river flows. The light fades. The stars appear. And the quiet holds everything. Without holding anything at all. The river flows. And nothing is ever truly separate within it. The night settles once more, though it never truly left. It rests over the land in the same gentle way, soft and unbroken. The village is quiet. The air is cool. The stars remain above, scattered across the wide sky, unchanged in their quiet presence. The river moves. Always. It carries its slow, steady motion through the darkness. The surface reflects faint light, shifting gently with each ripple. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. Everything passes. Inside the home, the man rests. His breathing is calm. Even. It rises and falls without effort, blending into the stillness that surrounds him. There is no separation between his rest and the quiet of the night. Time passes. It does not ask to be noticed. It does not leave anything behind. It simply continues. The stars shift. The air softens. And slowly, without any clear beginning, the night begins to open. The darkness lightens. The horizon appears. Morning returns. The river reflects it first. A pale glow stretches across the water, moving gently with the current. It fades and returns, never staying still. The man wakes. There is no sudden movement. Only a quiet awareness. A slow return. He remains still for a moment. Breathing. Feeling the calm that has always been there. Then he sits. The movement is gentle. Unhurried. He stands. Steps outside. The village is quiet. A bird calls once. Then again. The sound is soft, fading into the stillness. The path is there. Waiting. As it always has been. He walks. Each step is steady. The earth receives him. Then releases him. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This moment remains complete. It does not change. It does not need to. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the early light. The reeds move gently, their quiet whisper carried by the breeze. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world begins to wake. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village begins to move. Soft sounds return. Footsteps. Voices. The gentle work of life continuing. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The space holds its quiet. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The fish are prepared. The net is set aside. The shade offers rest. He sits. The pause within the day. The same quiet space. The air grows warm. The light shifts. Time stretches. The village slows. The river continues. Always. In the distance. Unseen. But present. Evening comes. The light lowers. The colors deepen. He rises. Takes the net. Walks the path. The river receives him. He steps in. Casts. Waits. The sky reflects across the water. The breeze returns. The reeds whisper. The moment softens. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Turns. Walks back. The village glows softly. Night arrives. The stars appear. The air cools. The world rests. Days pass. Then more. The rhythm does not change. It deepens. Quietly. Without being seen. There are moments when the stillness feels as though it is moving, even though nothing appears to change. The breath moves. The water moves. The light moves. Time moves. Everything flows. He stands at the river. Watching. Not searching. Not thinking. Just being. The water flows. The light shifts. The air moves. Everything continues. Nothing asks to be held. Nothing asks to be remembered. And yet, everything remains. Not as something stored, but as something lived. The path remains. Though footsteps fade, the river remains. Though hands change, the rhythm remains. Though lives move through it, one evening, the light fades into the softest blue. The sky deepens. The river reflects it. He stands at the edge. Pauses. Steps forward. The water rises. Cool. Steady. Endless. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. He waits. The moment stretches. Quiet. Full. Unbroken. The river flows. The light fades. The stars appear. And the stillness continues to move. Without sound. Without end. The river flows. And it never stops. The night rests again over the land, as it always does. It does not arrive in any clear way. It simply becomes the world itself, soft and still, wrapping the village, the river, and the open sky in the same gentle calm. The air is cool. The silence is steady. The stars remain above, distant and quiet, holding their places without effort. The river moves beneath them. Always. It carries its motion through the darkness without change. The surface reflects faint light, broken softly by the slow current. Nothing stays. Nothing is kept. Everything passes through. Inside the home, the man rests. His breathing is slow. Even. It blends into the night, becoming part of its rhythm rather than separate from it. Time passes. Not in steps. Not in marks. Only in continuation. And then, without any clear beginning, the night begins to soften. The darkness lightens. The horizon appears. Morning returns. The river reflects it first. A pale glow spreads across the surface, carried gently by the water. It shifts, fades, returns again, never holding still. The man wakes. There is no sudden moment. Only awareness. A quiet return. He remains still for a time. Breathing. feeling the calm that has always been there. Then he sits. The movement is gentle, unhurried. He stands, steps outside. The village is quiet. A bird calls once. Then silence. The path is there, waiting, as it always has been. He walks. Each step is steady. The earth receives him, then releases him. Nothing is held. Nothing is kept. The river appears. Wide. Calm. Endless. He pauses. This moment remains complete. It does not change. It does not need to. He looks out across the water. The surface reflects the early light. The reeds move gently, their soft sound carried by the breeze. He steps forward. The water meets him. Cool. Steady. Familiar. He casts the net. It opens. Settles. The waiting begins. There is no thought. No expectation. Only presence. The river moves. The light grows. The world begins to wake. He lifts the net. There are fish. He places them into the basket. Carefully. One by one. Again. The net is cast. Again. The waiting. The rhythm continues. Morning becomes day. The sun rises. The warmth spreads. The village begins to move. Soft sounds return. Footsteps. Voices. The gentle work of life continuing. He returns. The path feels the same. The home receives him. The space holds its quiet. The work continues. Simple. Steady. The night rests over the river one more time. It is the same night as before, and yet it feels like it has always been the only night there ever was. Nothing about it calls attention to itself. It simply is. The village is quiet. The homes hold their gentle darkness. The air is cool, still, and soft. Above, the stars remain where they have always been, distant and steady, as if they are watching nothing at all, and everything at once. The river moves. Always. It carries its water through the land without effort, without pause, without need. The surface reflects faint light, broken gently into small, passing shapes that never stay long enough to become anything permanent. Inside the home, the man rests. His breathing is calm. Even. There is no beginning to it anymore that can be clearly separated from what came before. No clear difference between waking and sleeping, between movement and stillness, between presence and rest. Time passes. But it does not gather into anything that can be held. It does not lead anywhere that can be named. It simply continues. And then, without sound, without moment, without clear transition, something soft happens. Not a change. Not an end. Only a return. The river reflects a faint light at the edge of the sky, as it always has. The village remains still. The air remains calm. The world continues its quiet motion. And everything that has been part of the rhythm, hands, water, light, breath, waiting, remains within it. Not separate. Not lost. Not finished. Just, continuing. There is no longer a fisherman standing apart from the river. There is no longer a river waiting for a fisherman. There is only the movement itself. The casting. The waiting. The return. The morning. The evening. The silence between them that was never empty. Everything has become part of the same slow, endless flow. The river does not remember. But it does not need to. Because nothing has been lost within it. The man is not gone. He is not present in a way that can be pointed to. He is in the rhythm. In the way the water moves. In the way the net falls. In the way the light changes without effort. And the younger one, and the village, and the land, and the air, they are all within the same quiet continuation. There is no final moment that arrives. No final breath that divides what was from what is. Only the river. Only the passage of time that never breaks. Only the soft unfolding of life that never needed to be explained. Even now, as the night slowly becomes morning again, nothing ends. The water moves. The light returns. The world breathes. And it continues. Quietly. Softly. Without asking to be remembered. Without needing to be finished. The river flows. And it was never anything else.